Welcome back to Watch More Football. We did have a week break, but we're back again to discuss the fixtures that have happened in the Premier League. Although this time we're also going to be touching on the FA Cup and the EFL Cup a little bit as well. You're watching us on the Genreverse Sports channel, so please give that a like and a subscribe if you can, because it's just a new channel. We're just trying to get it going. This is the first video on it, but there will be more coming on in time. Have you checked out also the Genreverse YouTube channel, because that is our main channel, and that's where we've got loads of entertainment news, reactions, tons of anime stuff, shows on there that you might be interested in. My name's Cam Clark. I'm one of the senior editors for lrmonline.com, so if it's entertainment news you're looking for, please give that a check out for all your written news, entertainment reviews, loads of rumours. We cover all the rumours for all the big franchises as well. As I said, my name, I'm here with Ryan, Mick and Dave again. All right, guys, how you doing?
All right, guys.
All right.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to you guys too. I mean, we did do it on WhatsApp on New Year.
Yeah.
So obviously this is where this came from, really.
Happy New Year to all our loyal viewers as well.
Yeah. Rich.
All five of them.
Rich. Happy New Year. We'll get to that point, yes, to discuss it at some point. We're just waiting for a break in the week. Anyway, we're going to start off this week by just going over some of the results that happened. Some of your predictions, bad as they were. So, Kel, if you want to bring up the image of the predictions from last time, and then you can just bring up the results that we, as you please, for the audience.
Shit, I forgot what I predicted.
Yeah, I did as well. I just have it right last.
We'll talk about some main points out of those games anyway. I'm sure you can remember some of the main ones. But yeah, ultimately, Ryan got the least amount of points this week. You only get 3, Ryan. And we were actually going to dock you 2 points because we couldn't see 2 of your predictions, which we decided was your fault. But actually, when you look back on it, you proved that you got them wrong anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. You didn't actually lose any points this week.
Just take the other points off him as well.
The rest of us all got 5.
To be fair, you could probably still take points off me, because it's like docking points off Everton for overspending on all the shit players they bought.
yeah. I mean, we could. It just depends, but it all comes down to a vote. So we're all like trigger happy at the moment, but it's all going to come round to each one of us at some point, and everybody else is
I definitely am.
It's desperate. Mick wanted you banned for the competition for life, I think, earlier on. Anyway, the point is, Cam, Mick and Dave all got 5 points, and that puts us currently, our overall scores as me and Dave in the lead with 10, Mick just behind with 8. He would be winning if he had turned up one week, and Ryan is lagging behind at the moment with 7. So in terms of some of those games that we did predict, I think there's a couple that I wanted to bring up, probably, I think, based on where we were last week in Ryan's over Man United, we have to talk about the fact that they then went to Forest, played shit, and get beat. So, Ryan, still was confident about the Man United resurgence?
It was a typical United performance of this season. Just sort of, Højlund being missing straight after breaking his Premier League duck was a shame. And Rashford just wasn't really clicking up front. But yeah, just sloppy mistakes defensively from that, for their goals, and not enough going forward. It's classic sign of our season.
It's not just us that get beat off Forest.
Yeah.
Although they did beat us at home, which was
I think
a bit worse.
Part of it as well is.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say, Mick?
I said, so we'll all hate Forest because Chelsea got beat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But were we the only ones that get beat at home by Forest, though?
Yeah.
So far, I think so.
And at least our player that we sold to them didn't score a hat-trick against us either, so...
I mean, there is that as well.
Prime Ronaldo.
That didn't happen to you, so...
Look like prime Brazilian Ronaldo.
But yeah, so the overconfidence is gone. We were pretty down last week in terms of Newcastle fans, and I don't think any of us expected any different, but lo and behold, Liverpool absolutely thumped us. But
it was harsh.
We have to talk about one thing from that game, and I think everybody knows what I'm going to mention, and that is the dodgy penalty.
The two dodgy penalties.
That was dived for by, what's his name? Jota. Yeah. Yeah, it was Jota. Yeah.
I didn't think either of them were penalties.
I mean, Liverpool, I'll just say, well, the first one I think was harsh, but I can see why they couldn't overrule it, right? So it's kind of one of those ones, I think they did dive a little bit for that, but there was contact.
Why didn't Longstaff get one
then?
It's
kind of smart striker play, let's say.
Longstaff was more than the pen than the other two.
I actually agree that if that was a pen, so was the one at the other end. But ultimately, all I want to say is I kind of like Liverpool still deserved to win that game. And there's no way we were winning that game. They were better in this start to finish. They deserved to win. I'm not complaining about that. But it would have been an exciting 10 minutes if that penalty hadn't been given. And it was a clear and utter dive, and the ref should be doing better with that.
Yeah, was it 7.2 or something goals expected? Expected
was
goals.
Was it not the most of any game this season? They had the most
ridiculous.
I think it's
brought out.
Yeah, it's up there on
they're one of those teams that's just hitting a form at the moment, though. They got good results without playing well at the start of the season, but now they're kind of it's like an engine. They're starting to pour now.
Yeah, they're finding their way through games, aren't they?
Yeah, but the only reason that they didn't get that many goals.
They can hammer you at the moment.
The only reason they didn't get that many goals is because it was Darwin Núñez shooting all the time.
Well, I mean, the kid did well in goals as well. He made some very good saves in that game.
He did, yeah.
To be fair,
but I would deserve to
lose. Been a lot more as well. But anyway, yeah, just to point out the penalty was crap, but yeah, we deserved to lose, no problem at all. I guess. I don't even remember what your result was, Dave.
Against Luton.
Oh yeah, it was a bit of a mad game against Luton.
Oh, you
did. We all know going to Luton's pretty hard. Quite a lot of big teams have struggled there. Chelsea looked all right in the first half, obviously because we scored 3 goals. But I felt we weren't really in control of the game. But when you're 3-0 up, you think we should be all right. And then the last 10 minutes happened, and suddenly Luton just knew how to play against down the wings, and we conceded 2 late goals. But we also, I think they hit the crossbar twice as well, and
they had one disallowed as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
considering where the game started, it became quite a crazy game in the end.
So it could easily have lost that.
I was watching it, and when they went 3-0, I went, 10 minutes left, I'm going to the shop. I come back, it was 3-2. I thought, fucking hell, what's going on here? I've missed this.
Ross Barkley's doing really well for them there. He's sort of...
yeah. I mean,
he's found his feet a little bit.
You can guarantee an ex-Chelsea player scoring against Chelsea. It always happens.
Andros Townsend as well.
He played well against us as well. He's doing really well this season, to be fair.
Yeah.
Surprising that he was just out the game for however many months. Just, I don't know whether he was wandering the world, getting into adventures and shit or something like that, like the guy out of Kung Fu. I don't know what his score was.
Did he go to Turkey? I can't even remember.
6 months, didn't
he? He went to France. He went to Nice.
And then had no club for a while.
Yeah.
Did he actually go to Nice?
Yeah, he went to Nice when Ratcliffe was signing a bunch of old past it Premier League players. They signed.
Who else went again?
Schmeichel and Aaron Ramsey went over as well.
Ramsey, that's the one,
yeah. Yeah. I bet he was never fit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he never even pulled on a Nice jersey the entire time he was there. But anyway, moving on to the kind of FA Cup results, because what we had is we had a set of Premier League results, and then we had the FA Cup this weekend, which involves not just the EPL teams, but the entire football pyramid within England is involved in the FA Cup. The Cup's kind of world famous and it's the oldest cup in the world as well. So it's kind of a famous cup that non-league teams and amateur teams basically have got the same chance, apart from that they're shit, of working their way to the final. But this is just for anybody that's watching that doesn't really know much about the FA Cup. All our teams everybody's team was playing in it. A couple of kind of key games to pick out probably would be one that we were in, and then I would say probably the Liverpool-Arsenal game as well. Obviously, your team are playing at the moment, Ryan, so we'll see how they go on away to Wigan. Yeah,
we've put out a strong side.
Your team went through very comfortably, Dave.
Yeah,
4-0,
well, I mean, the first
I
half
think
was
it
a bit of a
was it?
struggle. The first half was a bit of a struggle, but Preston were clearly tired in the second half, and we could have scored about 7 goals in the end. It was 4-0, but we could easily have scored
Yeah.
7. Yeah, it was good to see.
Um,
Really good to see. But then it's Preston.
Obviously,
I was going to say,
one
sure
of
we
the
couldn't
games that
do that
was
in the
hyped
Premier
up
League.
What?
was Sunderland versus Newcastle, two big rivals playing. But I kind of feel there wasn't too much to say about that game, to be honest. I mean, might have a different view, but for me, kind of Sunderland never turned up, and it was just a very easy 3-0 victory. It's not really worth much talking
There's
about.
not being able to raise yourself and make it difficult when you're the underdogs in a big game like that, and then there's basically gifting them 3 goals after rolling out the red carpet and repainting your bar for them and all that sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And they literally did bend
I was
over
quite
for us.
disappointed with Sunderland because I was expecting. I was expecting a much better game from them. Yeah,
I mean, it started quite, but I think every time they made more mistakes, their heads dropped.
They were just really naive. They played like Burnley have been playing all season, in that it's probably going to work for them most of the time. But when you're playing against a team that much better, you need to just sort of buckle down and chuck in a few tackles and that sort of thing.
I understand that they've got a really young team, but this is their biggest game. This is like their cup final coming up against Newcastle. Do you know what I mean?
It's the
what it means to this, what it means to this area, what it means to this area for both sets of fans. It's not just bragging rights in football; it's bragging rights. Do you know what I mean? In life in general.
Yeah,
because that's how it goes up here. This is the life and blood of us.
Before they play again. That's the thing.
It could be, yeah. It's been nearly 8 years since the last derby. They're sitting in the Championship, and I'm not being funny. The last 2 seasons we've been put out of League One teams, and they put up more of a fight than what they did.
I mean, Sheffield Wednesday battered us last year at the same stage, and I remember that, and we just didn't turn up in there.
Cambridge,
and again,
Cambridge came up here and beat 1-0.
I think we'd have been potentially worse, though, if we had went against someone else. I think because we were playing against Sunderland, we put out a strong team and said, let's have this. And that was good for us because it got us through to the next round, whereas in previous years,
definitely.
It looked a bit lax days ago. So
it's funny how Ryan mentioned about them decking out the Black Cats bar, black and white, putting up the flags and stuff. But they're also at the full time because the Newcastle fans had to stay behind half an hour, 45 minutes for the Sunderland fans to get back to the Dross houses or whatever.
I think just
the card machines went down.
There's a hole in the field, right?
Yeah, the card machines went down in the bar. We all got 3 pints.
Yeah, I heard that today or something like that. Somebody was telling me that as well. So the Newcastle fans ended up getting.
I just topped the day off.
It was just it was a great weekend out. TripAdvisor, as we say, I got somebody's post. TripAdvisor, great stay and come again. You know what I mean?
Great hosts.
But yeah, the game itself, though, or the spirit of the game itself, though, there wasn't much to talk about for Sunderland's end, I guess. So it wasn't that much of a game. The Arsenal-Liverpool game was a good game. And we were actually saying at one point, this is the game that we should make producer Kyle watch, because we thought it was going to be one of those great 0-0 draws where nobody scores, but it's still just a damn exciting game. And then as soon as Dave said it, it was you, Dave, that cursed it. Literally, Liverpool up the bat and scored 5 minutes later. But, it was a good game to watch, wasn't it? But you wonder how the hell Arsenal didn't score in that.
They should have been 2 or 3 goals up in the first half.
There would be 4 or 5.
There was some really good.
I mean, Liverpool played well in the second half. Don't get me wrong, but they wouldn't have been in it if Arsenal had some of those chances.
There was some really good last-ditch defending from Liverpool, but equally some really awful decision making from Arsenal. Yeah. Their pressing was really good. They didn't give Liverpool a minute's space. But when they did win the ball back, they weren't quite quick enough to take advantage. Just
No,
they
they
just
finish
sort of
was
pondered on it a
terrible.
bit too much.
Plays, but every time they got to a certain point, and we'll probably get onto that when we discuss transfers, they hit a certain point and they just can't seem to put the ball on the back of the net at the moment. I think we'll get to that, but there's a lot of this talk about the strikers I don't think is necessarily wanted. People just sometimes have times where they can't hit the bar, or it's just that's a form that they go through and stuff like that. But at the moment, yeah, they're really kind of get that psychological thing where they can't score, so it's a tricky one.
The thing is, they've got two good strikers there. They've got Jesus and Ketia. Two really good strikers.
Both banged in plenty of goals for them last year.
Even
if they can't score. But I think Jesus just get injured, though, or Jesus just get injured.
Yeah, he's
Again.
He also said he's not much of a goal scorer. He's more of a, I don't know what you call it nowadays, false nine.
He scored quite
kind
a
of
few
video
last year
type.
for them, but yeah, I guess Arsenal fans don't want to rely on Ketia. But at the same time, you've just got to give, I think, sometimes Liverpool some praise for just consistently beating everybody no matter what happens.
You've got to have someone who's going to bang in 25, 30 goals to win the league.
You want to win the
league.
Arsenal
haven't got that.
You want to win the league.
No.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And do we all think that without that they won't win the league this year because they've now fallen down to fourth spot?
I don't think they'll win the league.
We lost we haven't won in we won one in 7 games.
Won 1 in 7.
Yeah.
1 in 7.
They've been on a really bad run.
That's terrible.
They'll not win the league.
Only get as bad or slightly. The only team that's got a worse run on them at the moment is us.
We're not that far behind either.
Yeah, we're catching you lot.
Yeah, they just before the match they put United's record in December, and it was like 8 games played and about 2 wins in there.
And one of them was us.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
I don't hold much hope for us having City and Villa.
No,
Chelsea
I mean that's the
over
thing.
us.
I mean our record at the end of this period could just be bad, but at least we beat Sunderland. So, because I was worried if Sunderland went and beat us and then we lost maybe the next 2 games, Eddie Howe would get sacked or something like that. I can't see that happening. And luckily, all the fans
He'll be there till the end of the season at the very least.
He'll not be sacked. So, what a rubbish going about it now. But yeah, good game. Liverpool looked really good though, but I can't see Arsenal winning the league this year, even though it was an FA Cup game. You feel like that's how it's going.
Yeah.
So we got on to January transfer rumours and all the stuff that clubs are meant to be doing, all the big signings that they're supposed to be making this month. January can be one of those months where nothing happens, and then in the last week there's just tons of signings and loan deals everywhere and stuff like that. But some of the big rumours that have come up so far, there's one team that have already looks as if are almost ready to make a first signing, and that's obviously Timo Werner going to Spurs on loan, and then they're going to get an option about 18-19 million euros to buy him at the end of the season. I'll start with you, Dave, since he used to play for your club, and you actually had a bit of soft spot for Timo. It would be fair to say, when he came up first. So what do you think about the fact that he's now playing for the team that you probably dislike the most?
Everybody loves a player who tries a lot, and Timo was one of those guys. Like he could have scored about 1,000 goals, but he preferred to be offside and hit the woodwork. I mean, he could have scored so much; it's ridiculous. But he always tried. So, but going to Spurs, I don't know. I hope he fails.
He'll just weaken them.
Yeah, we all hope he fails because.
I hope he kind of. Yeah, I do hope he just kind of does what Timo does and just frustrate the Spurs fans.
Well, he's done.
He is one of those players that, like, if he captured the form he had at Leipzig when he was there the first time, and that he is actually, he's got potential, but I just don't know if he's headshot.
Depends how you play him. If you play him out wide and running at players, he'd be pretty good. But you don't want him as a focal point.
I think
the thing you've got to remember is that he's not getting his game at the moment. That's why they're letting him go. So it's not as if he's went in with refound his form, and that's why Spurs are like, hey, let's bring this guy back again. That's not the case. He's not playing, and that's why they're willing to let him go. So
I think he's fairly low risk as well. He's going to be dirt cheap, and if he does well, you've got a really cheap option on him at a time where there's not a lot of forwards available.
As well.
United were having a look at him as well. but it doesn't seem like they followed that up. But I would have been quite happy to have got him on loan for 6 months just to, give Hoyland a bit of a break. The way we play, he could have suited it.
Though, do you?
Well,
I can imagine he was in Man United's list, and then they're still having a talk one week, and somebody's like, "So what about Timo Werner?" And then somebody else goes like, "No, he signed for Spurs last week."
Yeah. And we've got the added piece of the chain of we've got the added piece of the chain of we need to clear everything by Jim Ratcliffe as well, even though he's not quite in. But we're probably waiting for Sancho to go, and a couple more just to sort of free up some wages.
Free up his wages and stuff like that. Although it won't free up that much wages for Sancho, and that's another one we can talk about. It looks as if he's going back to Borussia Dortmund, but they're not going to pay. I mean, he's in 320 grand a week.
Yeah, so the news was before the weekend. Yeah, the news was before the weekend. It was all done. He was going to go back to Dortmund on loan, and given we paid Dortmund £80 million, 2.5 years ago for him, they were going to pay $3 million all in to have him on loan for 6 months. And then that story broke, and then all of a sudden the move was off. No, that's including whatever portion of the wages.
That's all they wanted to pay.
They were never going to get him on the full wages.
I knew that.
Yeah. No, $3 million was loan fee and whatever wages, whatever part of the wages that covers. That story broke, and all the details sort of came out Dortmund's end with those sort of figures. And all of a sudden the move's just sort of been frozen a little bit. And there was a report over the weekend that United felt embarrassed by the fact that it was only $3 million, but it's very typical United in that they do something and then they have it released to the press and they see everyone go, "No, what the hell are you doing?" And they go, "Oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea." It's it's happened a few times.
We've seen that happen a few times.
So I don't know if we're renegotiated to try and get them to cover a bit more of the wages or what.
There was also the rumours that Maatsen would go to Dortmund, and that's quieting down the same time as rumours died down. So maybe it's a Dortmund thing.
Is that just the case that Dortmund just don't have any money? And
well, their CEO's come out and said they're still talking about Sancho. But
they need players because they're not doing well in the league at all this year. As much as they qualified in the Champions League, that's like an outlier compared to their league form, which hasn't been good at all. So. Strange one. And I guess the fact that they are in the Champions League means they might attract a few people as well. Has Sancho cup tied for the Champions League?
No,
he
hasn't played all season basically. Yeah. And I don't think cup ties work in the Champions League like they used to. I think they've relaxed that a little bit.
Am I being an old dinosaur here?
Yeah, I don't know.
How it all works. Used to be if you played for one team in one cup at any point in a season, that was it.
Well, it's still the same in the domestic cups, again. but yeah, I think the rules have been slightly relaxed in the Champions League. Which sort of it makes sense, because if you're still in the Champions League after Christmas and you're making signings in January, you want them to make a difference in the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Have you been linked with anybody else in this transfer window round?
Not. There's still the odd rumour about Guirassy. There was a report that went around last week saying we were looking at Choupo-Moting or Thomas Muller from Bayern, which again would just be a short 6-month option, but not Thomas Muller 5-10 years ago, sign me right up. But I don't see what he's going to do for us.
See, he's coming off the bench for Bayern at the minute.
Yeah, and Thomas Muller even now would probably still be an improvement, but he's going to cost how much money for 6 months?
A lot.
He'd want big wages. Yeah. When it come from.
We really need to be assessing who's in the squad already. There's no long-term deals are going to happen for us in January, because the people that are signing those players are probably not going to be in a job in 3 months' time. So it doesn't make sense to make any long-term decisions.
But I guess Guirassy, which is one name you mentioned, who's also been linked with us, with Newcastle United, is looking attractive at the moment because he's got a release clause of only supposedly 15 million quid.
Yeah, he could work, but it's a similar thing. Yeah, fine, we'll pay 15 million quid for him, but we'll give him a 3-year contract. And if the new director of football comes in and goes, "Oh well, actually, he doesn't suit us at all," we might recoup the 15 million, we might not, but Yeah, I don't
As
see
long as
that
you don't
happening
put
for
him
us.
in a massive contract, that'd be the thing. As long as you
Well,
just
yeah.
give him, hey, here, join us. Here's 300 grand a week, and he's like, ideal. That's me set for the next
Yeah,
year. As long
exactly.
as you just
Yeah.
give him a reasonable contract, though, then he's sellable again because you didn't pay that.
We're gonna
much
have to give him, so you know, aside from being a United player, and he'll be earning more money than he would be at Stuttgart anyway. We're gonna have to sweeten the pot for him a little bit, because he's on, he's in the Golden Boot race and in the race for top 4 out in Germany. So
yeah, but he apparently wants it because he is quite low paid, and this is his.
well, yeah,
first,
it's because his value's never been higher.
27, and
yeah. And it's
which
not,
is why Newcastle are supposedly looking at it as well. And without any worries, he'd probably play more often than the other two.
Yeah, if he's going to get his big move, it'll be now. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see.
I've never seen him. We might get
we might get a couple of low moves, but I don't think anything else.
19 goals in 16 games.
Yeah, he's had a good season.
Good record, but
he's only had half a good season so far. That's it. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's all it took for us to sign Højlund.
Not to sign Jackson.
Yeah, I know.
I'd love for us to go for him.
I don't think we'd be having this conversation if you didn't have a release clause, though.
No, I don't think so.
No, you're right. No.
I would like to go for him. I think 15 million's a cheap option.
Oh, it's pennies, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really the amount that Man United tried to get us to take Lingard and loan for 6 months. Yeah. Remember, that's how much they wanted for that.
We need a striker because we can't rely on Callum Wilson.
No,
he's got glass legs. I think we should bring someone in January to embed them and try and sell Wilson in the summer, because he's 31, 32. We can't.
I think,
rely on him.
Given his injury problems before he went to Newcastle, I think he's done way better than you had any right to expect.
I didn't expect.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's done great. Yeah. I mean, there's no he's been a bad signing for us. He's been a good signing for us, and he's scored a lot of goals for us. But I think this year we've maybe just seen tip over that edge where he just can't stay fit long enough, and Isaac is fit more often, but he does have the odd niggle here and there because of the kind of player he is, and he's got those big bandy legs and everything like that. Sometimes he picks up injuries, so we need somebody that can fill in, whenever he's as the more kind of high profile striker, if you like. What about the Phillips rumours? We've heard about. Obviously, Kevin Phillips is supposedly rumoured to be in Newcastle's wish list as a loan.
He back?
And he was.
And he's an ex-Sunderland player as well. That's a bold one.
I know, but he's a bit old.
What did I say?
Kevin Phillips.
Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. He was rumoured to actually be going, be interested in Juventus, but apparently they've now pulled out because they would cost too much money or something like that for them to kind of go for, and all the papers are saying that leaves it open for Newcastle to swoop in, but there's been no actual solid, really good, sources that have said, Newcastle are definitely interested in him and he wants to go there, so it kind of feels a bit up there, but he has to go somewhere.
According to Luke Edwards, Puke Edwards, he said that Calvin Phillips wants the Newcastle move. Newcastle like him, but they're playing hardball with City over the loan fee. They want the loan fee dropped a bit.
Because
if Newcastle are going to go for him, which they want to, it'll be towards the back end of the window. But they're worried that option will close before then, because Calvin Phillips will get a little bit restless and want to get away before then.
Should ask for a video of him to prove that he's still alive, because I don't think anybody's seen him in a long time.
Not since the last international break.
He scored a penalty 2 weeks ago for Man City, and
he hasn't been seen since.
That was in Saudi Arabia. Are we sure that's not an AI video?
That's why he needs to move, though, isn't it? Because the Euros are coming up. He'll probably get picked anyway because Southgate loves him. But he needs to play. I mean, he's got to be way out of form if he's just sitting on the bench for City. So why not come and play for us? We're a midfielder down for the rest of the season, guaranteed. Why not?
I think he's ideal with the way that we play. Bielsa plays the same way that Eddie Howe plays, with a high intensity.
But it's whether he's still got that intensity in him, though, because it's going to take him a while to get up to speed, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's where Calvin Phillips played his best football.
You need to play 90 minutes right now. He's going to come in a bit.
Oh, yeah, it'll be 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's not as if we need to put him in and play him every game, but, you know, and then he starts a few games, he comes off after 60 minutes. Do you know what I mean? But you can build up his fitness that way, but as long as he's injury-free, which he does seem to be at the moment.
I think he's the kind of player that we need in that 6 role, though. He needs to be in there alongside.
Yeah, I do. I don't see us doing much else other than that as well. I don't know what
we need a winger,
because as Ryan said, the whole situation with them is a bit weird. What we can guarantee is pretty much is that Chelsea will buy somebody. So, Dave, who are you going to spend millions on this transfer window?
We have probably some 17-year-old South American kids. I think we'll be in for.
You've already signed one.
Yeah, we have.
Everybody
He's Senegalese and stuff. I think like that. The one we signed was from Senegal.
What about Ivan Toney? That's been rumoured with Arsenal, and Arsenal saying, "Oh, we can't afford to buy Ivan Toney. Could you swoop in and pick him up?"
I hope not. I don't really want Toney, to be honest.
Nah.
His attitude doesn't seem to be right. He hasn't played in 8 months, and he's a bit old for us.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a bit old for your current model, but I heard a rumour the other day there that you were looking to sign Jordan Henderson.
Where did you find that rumour?
Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson.
You know that. I can't remember who came out with it, but you know that crap that they put in the BBC at the end of the day, the rumours page. Well, one of the ones on there says Jordan Henderson is unhappy and looking for a move back to the Premier League. But most teams wouldn't be able to afford it because Saudi would say, no, we want some money back for him. You know, you're not just going for free. But Chelsea might be interested because they're looking for a bit of experience in midfield. Tell me.
No, I can't see that at all.
Have I missed a goal in the football or something, Mick? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
No, it's not been a good game. But United have just put together a couple of minutes ago a decent move with a bit of movement off the ball, but it went wide off McTominay. But Wigan are just packing the box and looking half dangerous on the counter. They're getting it behind a bit, but there's no cutting edge from either team, really.
Just go out and commentary in the match, yeah. But, you know, anyway, Dave, sorry, what were you saying?
So anyway, centre mid, I don't think we're particularly looking for anyone.
Hey!
You are behind all of us, right?
I'm really behind.
Yeah.
Absolute cracker from Dello.
I'm hoping we're getting Lavia back. There is talk of Santos staying because we just recalled him from Nottingham Forest because they didn't play him basically because he was a local player. But really we need a striker, and we discussed this briefly last time, and the only two players I can see us probably trying for, and they're both expensive, would be Jimenez and Osimhen. But I don't know. I can't see either of those happening midway through the season.
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if you went out and said, if Bolly hears, they need a striker, and just because it spends 100, 140.
There's this kid at Napoli's just signing a new contract, but we'll get him. Just give him 150 million.
Oh, it's 120 million euros, isn't it? His buyout clause. So you could see Chelsea.
Is that in his new contract?
What, Osimhen?
Because he's just signed a new contract, hasn't he?
That's it.
That's his new
probably buyout clause in there. Yeah. So he is buyable.
So you know you can get him if you meet that fee, but because we were talking about last week, because it's Napoli, they like to play hardball, so you're paying the fee, and that's it. You know?
He hasn't been on the best of terms with Napoli this season, anyway. Just Napoli being Napoli.
But is there any point
that's Italian
you get them in the summer or in January, or is it not just better to wait till summer and get them?
I don't know. I don't know. We create a lot of chances, but there's nobody putting them away. So I could see a good, decent striker making a difference. But then again, it's Chelsea, and when have strikers been useful for us since Costa, basically?
Giroud and Costa. That's it.
It's not.
Yeah, you
What?
do have that
No, it's
tendency to
not.
kill strikers. For some reason.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Oh, but I mean,
I don't
we
know.
talked about Arsenal earlier on as well, and they need a striker as well. But with the rumblings that we're getting is that they can't afford to go and buy one of these big strikers. Basically,
Arteta came out and said,
to do it.
don't really expect what to be buying a striker in the January transfer window.
Yeah.
This is their best
But
chance.
does that mean anything, or is that just code for we're going to go out and get Tony? Because there's been a lot of talk about that. But how much realistically does Tony cost, do you think?
80
100
million,
million.
maybe? No, not 100.
Yeah.
80.
I
Brentford
think-
have said 100 million, and they don't need to
I
sell.
think Brentford would
Yeah.
try.
That's the thing is you, if it was at all regulated, you'd probably knock a bit of money off for the fact that he's been out for 8 months. And I think, the value that
It's not how it
buying
works,
clubs
so
will
is it?
see him at is going to be quite a bit lower than Brentford's, because he could keep them up,
Yeah.
because they are really struggling at the minute.
Yeah, they would.
And they'll get a lot more from staying up than they will from selling Tony.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't need to sell.
I just can't see Arsenal
And-
affording what Brentford would actually take.
And equally,
therefore, I don't think they will fix the striker situation.
if he comes back from his suspension and puts in 15 goals for the rest of the season, his value's only going to go up from there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to go over
He's
100 million, I don't think.
Well,
He's already turned
it's not
around
going
and
to go up too
said,
much because his age, isn't he? He's 27, 28, isn't he?
He's 27,
So
I
he's,
think.
he's
27.
kind of hitting at the peak at the moment, isn't he? He's not going to get any
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
unless he.
he's not a pacey
The ball
player, though.
goes.
He's physical, but he's not pacey, so it's not like he's going to hit 30 and he's not going to be able to run.
He's
Yeah.
a late maturer as well, because he
Yeah.
played most of his days. He was by average, to be perfectly honest. He used to play for Newcastle.
He was one of our hottest prospects, but we just didn't like playing the academy players.
Happened for him.
So we just got rid of him.
I watched him absolutely destroy Portsmouth when he was back at Peterborough. He was twice as big as any other player on the pitch. That's going back like 5 years now. But he was an absolute menace back then.
But there's
Some players
think
do
Peterborough
just
have got a-
mature differently though.
Peterborough got a 30% sell-on clause
Oof.
as well, and then
Really?
I think Newcastle get 30% of that. So I hope he goes for 200 million, mate.
You get 30% sell-on from
Money in
them.
Newcastle's pocket. So
But,
why don't
Tony's
Newcastle
already
just
come out
buy
and
him
said-
and then we save ourselves some money because it goes back to us again?
Yeah.
So
That was
Tony's
like when
already
we were
come out and
interested in
said-
getting Zaha back a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because we had like 40% on Palace's sell on or something.
I mean, speaking
Anyway.
of Zaha,
I don't
about-
think he'll leave.
sorry,
I
say
don't
that
think
again,
Tony-
Dave. You broke up a bit there.
I was just saying, you were talking about Zaha, and I just thought of Palace and not letting players go, and then Elise came to mind. But I think we discussed him briefly last time as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
discussed
but I
him
don't
last
think
week. 'Cause I
Palace-
don't think Andy can afford them.
Yeah,
I don't think
there's
they'll sell him in January.
there's talk that we want to get him in the summer, and there's a release clause. I think if his
Man
release clause
City might be
is
interested again as well.
if his
as long as
release
they're not
clause
the
is
ones-
50 million or lower, I'd love to have him, but we'd have to shift Anthony first, I think.
I think Man City will go for Neto.
I'd love to have Neto at United as well. Either one of them who can just run at a defender and
I would
do
love it
something
the
with
same, because we need someone on that right that's going to get past the defender and whip the ball in the box, not constantly cut back onto the left and then kick it out.
But I just don't think we could go and get what we need this January, because I just don't think.
No,
that's
not in
it.
January. I can't see that
Reasonable
happening.
fee. But it's definitely something we need to work on in the summer. Any other big transfers you want to talk about, or rumoured things that are happening for any of the other clubs? I've not really heard much rumoured for any of the other
It's not
big
been-
clubs,
no, it's not been a
other
lot.
than the ones we've spoken
Being
about.
quiet.
So there
think-
was word that Eric Dyer was going to go to Bayern Munich because they need
Yeah.
defence cover,
That's right.
and Spurs were going to sign that Romanian defender from Genoa, I think.
Yeah.
But then the rumor this morning was that Bayern were going to sign that guy instead. So, but he's going for about
Bayern would be mental to let Spurs go sign a hot young prospect and take Dyer.
Yeah.
Who's pish.
And the word
Yeah,
the word is he's
I
only going to
just don't
cost
see why
about
they
30
do that.
million euro as well, which is not a lot for a young defender.
Who Dyer?
No.
Oh
Gareth
no,
Dixon.
the other guy.
Yeah.
How much is Dyer? Well, I wouldn't give you. I wouldn't give
Dyer's
you
worth about 30 quid.
Man, he's pish.
30 quid,
fell
that's a
to
bit
bits. He was
much.
all right for a couple of years, but he fell away 2 years ago, man. Honestly, you watch the amount of times that Spurs fell to bits, and you watch Dyer in the middle of it going, "Oh, look, a lost puppy."
He was all right when Conte first came in. He was all right when Conte first came in, but
he's not fast enough to play in Angie's
maybe
system.
for 6 months, but
yeah,
he's crap. Anyway, shall we get on to the kind of next set of fixtures and our predictions and stuff like that, then, guys? Because
bollocks.
So the next set of fixtures we've got coming up is the EFL Cup Semi-Finals, which is a two-legged affair, but we're only going to predict first legs at the moment because there's a few weeks gap before they play each other again. But we're I'll ask everybody what we thought. Well, let's just show our predictions first of all, and then we'll talk a little bit about them. So,
right, are they all there, Cam? Can you see them all? Yeah.
Yes, but do you know what? He might get points took off for this, but he needs to start improving. But Mick,
I can't say them
when everybody else has got it portrait and you've got it. When everybody else has got it landscape, and look, Mick does it portrait.
Yeah.
Who does that? Who does that, man? You know what I mean?
Because I want to, right? I like to be different. Shut your shit.
Yeah, no, it's easier to read. I'm with Mick actually on this one.
It's easier to read.
Yeah, with Mick, it doesn't fit in this. Like, all fits in the screen at once because it's that size. When
we get to see Mick's face at the same time, which is even better.
Anyway,
you can see all that.
And that lens flare is blocking the bottom result, so that's good.
I did say if we talk about the EFL Cup first of all, Chelsea are obviously in it. You probably are setting favourites for this cup at the moment, Dave, although that doesn't say much because I think we all probably think, as I put on, the victims will win it. Liverpool will probably win it.
I can't wait to play Liverpool in the final, draw 0-0 and lose 5-4 in penalties. It's going to be great.
Is that your prediction?
If we get through, yeah. We've drawn the 7 games in a row?
You're playing Middlesbrough.
Yeah, Michael Carrick's doing good things there. I've put Borough to win the first leg.
I mean, but it's a whole other. See if it was just at Borough and it was a one leg, but it's two legs.
It's 2 legs, and we're starting to pick it over now as well. We're getting quite a few results there.
They gave Villa a good game at the weekend, though, Borough.
Final. They did. I mean, but they still got beat.
Well, yeah.
Only just.
But Villa can score goals.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, you make a good point, Ryan. You make a good point. What you try to say? Do you think Borough's going to win against Chelsea? Do you think they'll get through to the final, or do you think Chelsea will get through over 2 legs? Right?
I think they'll nick a win in the first leg, and then we'll see what happens.
Might have Osimhen in the second leg.
That's my prediction. It'll get Chelsea Liverpool final, but Liverpool.
If you've got Osimhen in the second leg,
you'll injure him before you.
No. Not before he skies the 5th penalty in the second leg.
That destroys him mentally for the rest of his Chelsea career. At that point. Well, I guess a few other big EPL, because there's not a lot of EPL games on this weekend, as you saw by the kind of scores up there.
That was 2 big ones.
I guess the biggest, 2 big games, if you like, in terms of Newcastle are at home to City. But is that a big game at the moment? Because we're kind of mid-table now, and City are fighting for the title. So is it that big? I don't know.
The Chelsea Fulham.
You know, does anybody expect?
Oh yeah, Derby, Chelsea versus Fulham. Yeah,
Derby.
Chelsea, the what derby? Was that the posh part of London derby? Is that what they call it?
Pretty much. Where only one team cares.
We don't like you. We're from Chelsea, and so on. And that's what they must say. I've been in those areas.
What the fuck was that?
That's where they make. Have you ever seen that? What's that program, Made in Chelsea? I mean, that's the people that live round about there, and you know what I mean, that's them when you're Chelsea fans. Well, maybe not, but okay. I mean, they get a London derby, but he's got London derbies all the time. Burnley versus Luton. I mean,
it's a relegation battle.
But that could actually be the most
6 pointer. That
game.
Nice little contrast of styles as well.
Yeah.
And then yourselves versus Spurs. Ryan, what did you have a solid? Because I need to look
I put
back.
2-0.
Do you think you won, or do you think?
I put 2-0 United. You know, it's
Did you?
we can. You know, the way Spurs play is very similar to Villa, and we exploited their high line. They've got a few injuries. They can't score. You know.
You do have a point. You do have a point in terms of that. You just tend to play better against better teams, and then beat off the worst.
The only issue is we're playing tonight, and they played Saturday, so they're going to be a lot better rested. But yeah, I don't know. They're still not got their best players back. You know,
terrible excuse.
But yeah, I can see us beating Spurs.
But as you know, people, from the points previously, whatever Ryan predicts will not happen. So you know, don't follow his advice when you're going to the bookies this Saturday, please.
No, definitely not.
Be held responsible for that. And else is what to say before we wrap up tonight, guys.
I don't know. I just want to give it a minute.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to have equalised. Yeah.
No, they haven't. No. I'll be honest now, they haven't. Just you should be 2-0 up.
Right,
you know
okay.
that
we can talk about
prolific
that
striker
goes over. People, there's people watching this at the moment. All 7 people watching this at the moment, and they already know what happened in that game because it happened already.
Rich, if you've seen it,
so
laugh.
say bye to our 7 viewers.
Bye.
Bye, Rich.
See you later.
Oh, for God's sake.